Welcome back to part 2 of the Pastel landscape video tutorial brought to you by the virtualinstructor.com. We're working on the water, and right now I'm making sure that I'm putting the reflections of the buildings and the objects that are around the water in the water. Those colors are important. They add to the realistic nature of the water. Now I'm ready to go ahead and start blocking in some of the features that are in the water. Again, I'm staying true with working from the back to the front. So, I've done the water. Now on top of the water are the guys in the boats. So I'm going to go ahead and add one of our gondolas there. And I'm just blocking in the shapes first with a dark brown. And then I'm going to pull out the different values on top of that dark brown. Just go right over the top of it with lighter values and darker values till I build up really the illusion of form on the surface. Then I'm going to go ahead and move on to the extreme foreground, and in this case I'm blocking out a little dock that's down at the bottom, and again I'm doing it the same way I did my gondola. I'm blocking out the shape of the objects with a dark brown, and then once I've got the dark brown shapes planned out, I can go back with lighter values and darker values and build up the form. See, I'm putting some of the darker values up there. Then I'll go back and put some of the lighter values, some of the highlighted areas, like on the top of the roof and on some of those other boats down there, so it doesn't just look like a shadow or a strange shape. You'll also notice that I'm not blending everything in with my fingers. In some places I am allowing the pastel just to rest on top of what I've already drawn. Having some areas that are blended with your fingers and some areas that are not are going to add a little more depth and texture to your image. Once I have got the dock to a level that I feel like I'm comfortable with, I'm going to decide to add another boater, and the reason for that is because the composition felt a little weak in the lower left hand corner. It felt like it needed something there. Whenever you have a big area of negative space, in this case, sometimes you might need to fill it in with something that's positive. Not all the time, but there was a large amount of negative space in this composition, so I decided to go back and add another boater to make my composition a little bit more balanced. And I'm going to do this boater the same way that I did the dock in the previous boater. I'm going to block in the shape first with a dark brown, and then I'm going to go back with some of those other warm tones. Now, if you'll remember in the first video I told you I was going to stick with a warm color scheme that was also analogous, and you can see the result is a harmonious image. The color scheme was thought out before I even did the image, and I stayed true to my colors. There's no cool colors in here. All the colors used are warm colors. I'm not saying you need to use warm colors all the time, but I am saying that you need to stick with a color palette. You need to think about your color schemes that you're going to use and stick with that palette that you choose. Alright, and that about does it. You can sign your piece at that point. And let's have a look at the finished image. So remember, you're going to work from the background to the middle ground, then to the foreground. Okay, and that's the best way to do a pastel landscape. I hope you have enjoyed this video tutorial brought to you by the virtualinstructor.com.